Welcome back live, looking down from the chopper above to Suncorp Stadium, filled to capacity. Brisbane today basking in 26 degrees of brilliant sunshine, yet everywhere you looked, people had jumpers on. Jumpers of the maroon variety, football variety, rugby league that is. Tonight that is translated to Suncorp, 52,000 people hoping to see this whitewash, this maroon wash, as they call it here in Queensland today. They've been waiting expectantly for tonight to be, as Gus Gould rightly said, a celebration. Many people believe they will celebrate with what is a rare opportunity, a clean sweep. There's been 6 of them. New South Wales have enjoyed them 3 times. Queensland the same, but they haven't won in a clean sweep since 1995 against Paul Morton. So Danny Buderus, for the 12th time, takes New South Wales out on the Suncorp Stadium. 5 times previously he's done this, Danny, and he's come home with the chocolates on only one occasion. New South Wales down 2-0 in the series. Queensland going for their 5th win in succession. And they haven't done that since '89 when they scored 6 in a row. Hazem El Masri at 31 is the oldest of the New South Wales players and one of the oldest players ever to debut at Origin. In fact, the oldest stands to the credit of Tony Butterfield at 32 years of age. Hazem El Masri whether this is a dead rubber. Words chosen by Chris Close, and he got it absolutely right. Darren Lockyer taking the Maroons out on his 13th journey. 26 times he's played at Origin level. He's never been part of a clean sweep. He was part of one that went against them horribly back in 2000. 2 Man of the Match awards for Darren as he leads the Maroons out. So it's the first time since 1989 that Queensland have won the series back-to-back. It's the first time that Queensland has wrapped up a series after the first 2 games since 1995. It's a most important night for them and for New South Wales to avoid the humiliation, if that's the right word, in going down 3-zip at State of Origin. Jessica Mauboy, who was runner-up on Australian Idol last year, is about to give us her rendition of the national anthem, courtesy of Sony BMG. Jessica Mauboy with the anthem at Origin 3 to close it down for Harvey Norman in 2007. All the stats, they seem to favour Queensland. Their experience totals 186 up against 112. They've used only 20 players, as Peter Sterling pointed out. The Blues 23. 9 of these Queenslanders have been there for the last 5 Origins. The Blues can name only 4. That's all very important stuff. The most important, though, comes in about 80 minutes from now with the result of Game 3, 2007. Will it be a whitewash? Are you ready? We're away. Lockyer's kickoff is high and deep. Massive hang time on the kickoff. And Brent Kites is tackled inside the 10. Queenslander hurt in back play. Simpkins going in. It's Johnson.
Here's Dallas Johnson down. 62 tackles in Game 2, and he's been hurt in the first of Game 3. Normally one of the best techniques defensively in the entire competition, but he's obviously gone on wrong on this occasion and taken some heavy contact. He's going down low. He just cops the full force of Brent Kite. He's also one of the toughest players in our game, so he is hurt. But to his feet, fortunately.
And there's that technique issue again. Tackling low, head on. Particularly the first tackle of the game. That's no place for Dallas Johnson to be sticking his head. Honestly. It just should be big man on big man collision up around the top half of the body, and Dallas Johnson's gone in there, and that's a sorry result.
He's copped the leading knee there with Brent Kite.
Yeah. No reason to do that.
Okay, we'll take a break and come back in just a moment. So, a punctuated start to Origin 3 with Dallas Johnson heavily concussed and aided from the field. We come back to you live. And New South Wales with Mason taking the play out towards the 20-metre line now for Gallen.
That's an interesting change, though. They brought Sean Berrigan onto the field to replace Johnson at lock forward, rather than getting a Carlaw or a Miles out there to get another big frame on the field.
So Kumali driving it down towards Carmichael Hunt. The only back in the Queensland side who hasn't scored in State of Origin. Carmichael plays at 30 out from his own line. They go back to a second man play, or behind a decoy I should say, and this is Brent Tate, bound for New Zealand next year. Thurston on, and Price has been one of the stars. 80 matches, we're watching 81. Queensland have won twice more than New South Wales. 2 have been drawn. The series are dead level at a dozen apiece. They've played for over 107 hours and there's only 5 points between them. As Cameron Smith drives the ball down to young Stewart, who continues that list of talented fullbacks to come from the South Coast, from the Illawarra. Now for Matt King, who's playing in the centres tonight. Played the vast majority on the wing. It's a good run by Bird. He ran into the shoulder of Carroll. It's not a good pass time. Mason taking it down the short side. 48 away from the Queensland line. They led here in State of Origin 1, 18-6. And then had 19 unanswered points against them in the second half. Ryan, somewhat of an Iron Man. He's played the full 80 minutes of his last 4 Origin games. The kick rolling down friendly for Tate, but Tate losing his traction and is pulled down on his own 20-metre line. Kamali's in trouble. Little dance there by Hodges. Looked like he's coming open. He went back to the blind, and we're back on Kumali.
He's got some contact with the leg in kicking the football. Then again work it out, 38. The referee, Paul Simpkins, has stopped play, despite the fact the number 7 is quite a way away. That's Stephen Price, who's diving at players' legs, kicking, was outlawed a while ago. He hasn't done so there. He's actually turned his back on Kamali, but the contact is still heavy on that lead kicking leg, which is very vulnerable, obviously, in that position.
Andrew, what's the story on Dallas Johnson?
Yeah, well, I can tell you, Ray, no one on the Queensland bench prepared to write Dallas Johnson off for the night. Look, he didn't want to come off the field. The only problem was Dallas thought he was playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and this was the NFL Super Bowl. I can tell you there's a familiar face on the New South Wales bench tonight. They've drawn on the experience of Freddie Fittler, 31 Origin matches. He's been in camp all day with the New South Wales side, had lunch with them, spoke to the players, and will present the Fittler medal for Blues Player of the Series after the match.
Further indication that nobody associated with the game out on the park thinks of dead rubber. They're still thinking of new ideas, fresh ideas to invigorate the team. Stewart invigorated by a Queensland tackle. Hayne got it away. Cooper goes quickly to the accelerator. He's 32 metres out from his own line, 20 in from touch, eastern side. They're defending the Caxton Street end of the ground here, the Blues. Attacking at the moment, obviously. This is Gallen. They affectionately call him and Greg Bird the Bash Brothers from Cronulla. And here's Brent Kite now, up towards halfway. He's been here 3 times at Origin level, Brent, to Suncorp, and he's gone away empty-handed, 3 from 3. Badiris away for Hindmarsh, and Hindmarsh puts the arm up into the face of Cameron Smith to fend him away.
Greg Bird playing a lot of first receiver. In fact, he's about to get the football again for the 4th time in this set, and he's hit hard by Cameron Smith going through. Gets a high kick up, well taken by Brent Tate. He's cleaned up by Badiris.
Well, no big pardons from Cameron Smith on the kicker, and no big pardons from Danny Badiris on the marker, on the man marking the football. 25 away from the Queensland line, coming away from the Milton Street end of the ground. Penalty goes Queensland's way off the whistle of Paul Simpkins.
And there is Brad Fittler, an absolute Blues legend. Ben Creagh, the 18th man sitting next to him from the St George Illawarra Dragons. We waited 51 minutes for the first penalty in game number 2. We've waited under 5 in this deciding game.
Willie, here I am.
The final game.
Cameron Smith there. Man of the match in the second. Stephen Price. Haven't they been good? Price and Sivan Asiva. By the way, the man of the match award tonight for the Tui's new man of the match will be made by the Australian selectors. Carroll going fast and then hit strongly in defence by Gallen and by Bird, the Cronulla twins. Then from Lockyer, back and away for the 12. That's Webb. Scored on debut. Berrigan for Price. Price for Sivan Asiva. The book ends to the 10-metre line, middle of the ground. Caxton Street end. Cameron Smith, Jonathan Thurston, second man, quick catch pass from Hunt. Good hands by Hodgins. Brilliant hands by Hodgins.
Well, Justin Hodgins claiming that the opposition touched the football and it should have been a restart to the tackle count. None of the officials were of that belief.
Second push.
Matt Cooper missed it, and now New South Wales get their first penalty, as we see Justin Hodges give that away for a play the ball infringement on Jared Hayne.
So Kumali is going to take the kick, which indicates that he's got a bit of feeling back into that leg that hyperextended, I think is the expression they use. Now Badiris taking the tap and sending Mason up to the halfway line, playing in the sky blue boots tonight. Is Willie. Did he play the ball? No, he's lost the ball. Getting up to play it.
Well, that's a momentum killer. How often do we see it? Players just not concentrating and doing the simplest of tasks, something that happens 400 times a game, and still be able to muck it up.
Second, the locks in.
Couple of penalties early in this game. I've always said if there's a lot of penalties in an Origin game, it suits New South Wales, and it will particularly suit this New South Wales team, who've been struggling for attack. It'll allow them to get into set play situations a little easier, gain some ground off kicks for touch, so they get some attacking football.
Sivan Asiva is with the ball on the New South Wales 40-metre line. Here is Price taking a speculator. It's with Cameron Smith. And they come in and put him away. King in the main. Melbourne on Melbourne. And Kamali coming in to clean up as well. Sivan Asiva. In fact, Melbourne, the Cowboys in Brisbane, supplying 13 of the 17 here tonight for Queensland as they go down the blind side again with Webb. 5 tackles gone for Carl to get up and play the ball back to Stephen Belly. He has returned serve for Willie Mason. Scrum will pack 15 away from the Blues line.
Yes, wasn't the last tackle, otherwise it would have just been the handover. And Stephen Bell just losing the grasp of the football. Scrum feed to the Blues. Camorley appears to have recovered completely from that leg knock off the kick.
It's an interesting change. Stephen Bell to the left and Hodges to the right. I'm sure blind they worked the other way in the past two origins. Bell plays right centre with the Manly club.
Bird rifling a pass over to Cooper. Carroll was coming down on Cooper very hard. Hindmarsh rattled up by Seven Asiva. Work off the ball there by Carl Webb on Brent Kite. As Badeiros gives a short ball for Hindmarsh, who looked inside. The player wasn't there. Camorley gets the ball away to Queensland.
Going down, got the head. Head contact.
Last time he did that, Matt Bowen was under the post at the other end to win in Origin 1 2005 in extra time.
Oh, gee, that's a soft penalty. I know he has made a little bit of contact with the head, but wasn't too much in it from Greg Bird. A great attacking opportunity here. Cameron Smith, 20 metres in. Back to Thurston, who finds Webb. Quick ball to Bell, well read El Masri.
El Masri is defending down the right side. Inglis, the dummy half here, attacking down the same side. So we can expect Lockyer or Thurston to rain a couple of big ones over towards Hassan, who would be probably 6 inches shorter than Inglis. Now it's Lockyer's pass that goes to ground, and Cooper busy out in the centres.
Let him go.
Penalty goes to New South Wales now.
Rabbits Andrew Johns joining us in commentary again tonight. And Andrew, I can notice that both teams are throwing a lot more passes than they've thrown in game 2, and a lot of risky passes as well.
It's very un-Origin-like from both teams. Queensland have had 3 sets on New South Wales in danger area, and they've gone sideline to sideline every time and made errors. They're throwing passes they wouldn't throw in the NRL, let alone State of Origin.
Good work, Badeiros. Good work, Mason. Likewise, the handoff from Gallen for Badeiros again. To the 20-metre line. The Blues with a chance. A chance for Gallen to give it, and it's knocked on. Knocked on by Cooper.
Well, there's a good example of it again. There's no doubt there's a little bit of hot potato attitude here from both teams. Looking for the quick hit, the first one to score the try. Both teams want to play from in front. Bird particularly adventurous, but everyone dangling the arm out, looking for the ball away. The first 2 games, we went through long periods there of just safety first football. That's not on tonight.
Queensland then coming away from the face of their own uprights. With Brent Tate. Now to Lockyer, to Bell, and Bell tries to find a passage between King and Bird. Of course, Stephen Bell would have played much of his football with Matty King. Bell formerly with the Storm as it goes to Price, and then back to Berrigan to go across to Carroll, who shrubs away one, and Gallen wraps a hand around the throat and pulls him down. Now they go in. Now they go in. Now they sort each other out.
Just a bit of pushing, letting off steam. Greg Bird will be penalised for the high tackle.
But it's got some potential. It's got to start with pushing.
In fact, sorry, it's Paul Gallen.
There's head contact there. You instigate the melee, okay? That's a penalty against him. Right?
So that's a melee.
That's a melee. It can graduate into a brouhaha, but I doubt the referee will ever call it a brouhaha.
I can't believe Justin Hodges was in there pushing the shot.
He'll wait for the brouhaha.
Paul Simpkins back for his 5th Origin here tonight. 4 matches at Suncorp on the scoreline. 2 games all under Simpkins. Here's Cameron Smith with just a little thrust back and away for Berrigan. 25 metres out from the Blues line. Tackler was Hindmarsh with Badeiros. Smith run around with Price. And then Smith through the gap inside the 10. Cameron Smith plays the ball back for Justin Hodges to go to Jonathan Thurston, and away now to Darren Lockyer to Carmichael Hunt. 8 metres out from the Blues line.
Crashing tackle, Brent Kite.
It was indeed. Lockyer hitting Sibina Siva, losing the ball, and a scrum in front of the uprights at the New South Wales end of the ground.
If Cameron Smith had just slowed down when he first burst into the backfield, support was looming, but he lost track of him and had to go himself. If he slows here, Carroll was looming on the right. Instead, he right foot stepped back in field.
And look who
And on
made
the last play there, Sibina Siva has the ball taken away from him. Unlucky not to get a strip penalty, but fair enough, I guess.
And it was Badiris making the try-saving tackle on Cameron Smith. The duel continues.
More of the work that Danny Badiris does that we don't always see. Lockyer was really hammered by Bird. Hayne with the ball, and he's got them. He's got them for either offside, inside the 10, or the markers direct.
Now, you're right, Lockyer was hammered by Bird, but his protector came in straight away, Tony Carroll, and finished it off. He said, if you're going to do that to my buddy, then you're going to wear my shoulder in your ribs. Carroll is his protector.
Kamali finding the line. What did Bob McCarthy say? If they smack you, you smack them back. Badiris to Kamali, short for Mason to the halfway. Or Webb went in for a shoulder charge. It went wrong, and he came out looking embarrassed. Right on the halfway line, the big fella, Willie, plays the ball back for Danny Badiris to Kamali and then to Gallen. And Gallen to the 40-metre line. Let's update the injury situation, Andrew.
Yeah, fair bit happening down on the sideline here. While that brouhaha was happening with Gallen and Carroll, treatment for Greg Inglis out on the left wing for Queensland. Now, they've strapped his right knee, and the way they've strapped it suggests there's a ligament problem. He's been struggling since the opening 5 minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Voss. 32 metres away from the Queensland line to the short side for Heinmarsh to find Bird. Bird puts a kick in, came off a Queenslander, went to ground, booted by the Blues, cleaned up by Inglis. Cleaned up by Inglis with his right knee bandaged.
Well, the rebound was nearly very good for Brett Stewart, but he actually treads on the football in trying to tow it through. It could easily have hurt his ankle, comes off Thurston, there's Stewart. He misses, Hindmarsh backs it up, and Inglis missed on the first attempt, got rid of it on the second.
Well, he fluked it. I don't know whether that knee prevented him going down and grounding the ball, but he stood up, and the kick was an accident. He missed it with his hands, and the trailing leg was able to catch it. Otherwise, Hindmarsh scores the first try of the Origin.
And he is limping out there, Brett Stewart. He's about to get this football from the restart. He's not 100% after treading on the ball.
Kite playing it just outside the 30-metre line. Queensland's end of the park. Here's Andrew Ryan. The tackler in the main was Carl Webb. Over the top, Sean Berrigan in the game with Dallas Johnson injured in the opening seconds of the match. Here is Mason, a handoff for Badiris to Ryan. Oh, the pass was on. Very difficult. Out in front of El Masri. So a scrum will go down.
I think someone should get a message out to the Blues that they can kick in behind Inglis. El Masri is very good at it. He should be told that his opposite number is struggling. Again, more adventurous football there from the Blues. It's causing them errors at the moment, but at least it looks more dangerous.
Thurston for Bell. And Bell put down just inside 20. No score. And just over 16 minutes of Origin 3 for Harvey Norman. Garden Price is through an opening. 33 away from his own line. Tackled eventually by Greg Bird. Hodges goes away to the right. And he comes to Cooper. Cooper's got him. And the other winger, Jared Hayne, got himself tangled up in the action. Here's Carroll hitting it up the middle. 35 away from the New South Wales line. He did better than that, 32 metres away.
Now he's in rare form, Tony Carroll, running the football strongly as Lockyer. Second man to Thurston.
And then catch pass Hunt and then to Bell. And El Masri channeled in off his right wing to make the tackle and shut it down. Thurston, he goes neatly into the 20-metre zone, but Hayne came out from the deep. And Jared scored that miraculous try in Origin 1.
Oh, Petro Sibnasiva saw a winger coming in field. Sent him back to the flank.
Here's Gallen. I like what I'm seeing from Gallen and Bird. Here's Stewart. 7 from 10 Queensland, 7-11 New South Wales. And it, of course, emphasises the stoppages we've had in the game, with players chancing their arm more in this game, obviously, and many of the balls going to ground. Then for Bird, good hands Gallen, puts a fend up on Lockyer, beats Lockyer, beats Hodges, gets it to Hayne, he's gone to ground, penalty, tackled in back play by Brent Tate.
Well, he knew that Jared Hayne had got past him, Brent Tate, and despite the protesting, he realised that he was not going to have time to recover, so we better make sure that Hayne doesn't get away in behind.
Wait. Oh.
Danny Madeira's taking the tap. Mason comes to Carroll, and Carroll goes low and is made to miss, and Mason standing there like a colossus. And he's done it several times so far. Decoy kite to Kamali, to Ryan, back into the middle, and making Lockyer work in defence with Sivanasiva. Now for Badeiras. Here's Gallen. Gallen comes across, unloads to Kamali. They sprint it to the right. Bird gets it away as Lenmarsh. Knocked down by Queensland. 6 more tackles. Back to Bird. And Bird is tackled by Bell.
There's another Queenslander down in the end goal. Inglis is gone.
Ryan.
Well, he's a player who got the hand in the way there to save the try, but he is gone.
Badeiras. And Kamali loses it. Queensland ball. Smith has dropped on it. Excellent play by the number 9 from Queensland.
You got 2 examples there in the last minute of Queensland's desperation to save tries. Brent Tate's tackle on Hayne when he got away on him and kicked downfield, and Inglis coming in there to knock the ball down when he was in trouble. That's Queensland mentality all on, but New South Wales is way on top at the moment, I'm telling you, way on top.
There was a number 3 in there too, Gus. Cameron Smith getting on that loose ball. There were blue jerseys around it, but he was the most desperate. Hodges out of dummy half. Taken 3.
38 metres away from the Queensland line. Let's go down for a comment from Ben Ikin. Ben.
There's been some real enterprising attack from the Queenslanders. Plenty of variety around the ruck and plenty of players in motion when they've gone wide. The New South Wales defences have to be great. We've got a real contest on our hands here. This is going to be a great game.
Hazem El Masri passing to Matt King. King is out to the 40-metre line. The run started back at the try line, and El Masri was there to go to dummy half.
Luke Bailey on, Brent Kite on, off.
Badeiras for Bailey, who's indicated this is his last origin. 42 metres out from the Queensland line. Badeiras to the middle for Mason. Mason short for Bird. 45 metres out from the Queensland line. Badeiras again for Kamali. Kamali, long cut-out pass over to Cooper. Tries to isolate the winger. Hayne is over. Jared Hayne is over to score for the Blues. Well, he had nothing to work in, but we know what he can do.
That is the work of a finisher, as the other winger for Queensland, Greg Inglis, limps from the field. Had a lot of work to do here, did Jared Hayne. Takes advantage of the ball off Matt Cooper. Tate slips. Justin Hodges turned around, runs into Stephen Price, comes to the fullback Hunt and scores in the corner. Got one game 1, has got another in game 3.
Out of that game with a mixed bag. Kamali just getting some work again to that right knee. There's the try scorer, Jared Hayne. You all saw Origin 1. He scored that try right on half-time at the 39th minute in his debut game, and then just minutes into the second half, he was totally at 6s and 7s, and finally he was embarrassed by Darren Lockyer scoring a try. So here's the great man, the greatest goal kicker I've ever seen, from the sideline. Hazem El Masri on debut at Origin level in front of 52,000 people, and a lot of people watching on TV around the nation and the world from 22 out. Many of them praying for this to go over. People of all religions, they want this over. There goes Hazem. There he goes. There he goes.
bloke we've been waiting to see at Origin level so far this series. Now, what's his role going to be? He's on the left wing, but you can bet Mal Meninga will say to Matty Bowen, you just pop up whenever you like. This is going to be intriguing. Watch him go.
And what a great kick from Hazem El Masri there. He went through a rough patch a few weeks back, revealed that he'd actually been carrying an ankle injury, but was over it now. And there's no doubt about that as Bailey takes it forward. Well met by Price. That's a good restart. First tackle made 5 metres from the opposition line. Second run from Gallen.
They're in real interchange trouble here, Queensland. Real interchange trouble. They're going to run out of players at the back end of this game.
Mason out to the 20.
You're right, Gus. They lost a player in the first minute who could play 80. And Nate Miles hasn't played much football of late as the offload goes forward.
Greg Inglis back in the sheds with that right knee causing his retirement from the game at this stage. And
they'll look good from this angle. This is the try. Cooper stands up one player, slip tape, gets rid of he's beaten 5 defenders in 10 metres. That is the work of a real finisher.
That is the work of a real eel, isn't it? As slippery as the electric eel, Jared Hayne. Shane will be happy. I put his name in there somewhere. You've done well. The man with the whistle. Play by Nate Miles now. Then for Smith and for Price. And Price is just inside the 20-metre line. Tackled by Mason and Badeiras. How much work has Badeiras done? He's been in everything. Now it's away from Lockyer. It's gone to Carl Webb. Webb will play the ball just inside the Blues 10-metre line. Held down for a long time by Bailey. Smart play by the Gold Coast Titans prop. Thurston, Carmichael Hunt, passes, and Queensland are in. Justin Hodges. How easy did they make it look? Simply superb.
Yes, very simple in the end. And it came from a mistake again from New South Wales. The offload ruled forward. And it's a pet play from Queensland. The second man sweeping plays. Thurston in behind. Carmichael Hunt thought he might have been able to score himself, but he took the safe option, found Hodges. They hit back immediately.
Try scorer Justin Hodges. I spoke about some embarrassment in his debut match for Jared Hayne. Well, Justin Hodges knows the feeling. The JHs of the game. And Hodges has scored at the other end of the park.
Well, if they've got the character, they become better players going through those kind of unfortunate incidents. And Hodges definitely has done that. There's Thurston.
He's been kicking at 80% in this series, and he's missed it.
Just watch with this try the way the Queensland forwards sell that the ball is going to go to them. One of them will actually start the point. The second man on the right, away from the play the ball, will now point at the defence and say, Cameron, I want you to put me in that hole over there. They'll run straight to the line. Cameron Smith brings them onto the line. That compresses the New South Wales defence, creates the gaps out wide. That's great dummy half and first receiver play, but 2 great decoy runs by the Queensland forwards.
And that was not an easy pass, the last one thrown by Carmichael Hunt. Could have very easily been thrown forward, but he took his time and made sure it went backwards to the try scorer.
Heavy collision there between Bailey and Miles. As Smith unloads for Steve Price to go up and taken by Hindmarsh and Ryan. Cameron Smith, haven't they had some great hookers? Conescu, what do they call him, the Turtle? And then they had the Walters brothers, but I do think this fellow stands at the top of the Queensland tree. Cameron Smith from Melbourne, born and bred at Logan, where he dreamt of playing Origin football. He got his gear on in the lounge room when he was only a kid, when Wally and Mal were scoring tries. And he said to his parents, I'll do that one day. And Cameron Smith did it. And he's done it with aplomb. Here's King. Just inside 20. El Masri. And he's really driven into the ground, but he did well to hold the football. Badeiras onto Bailey, and Bull Bailey gets it away to Willie. Willie shrugs away one, comes to Smith, and they hang on and put him down. 30 metres out from the Blues line. Badira's just a little scoop up to Bailey. 6-4, the Blues, first and failing to convert. As Bird seemingly had plenty of time, some of the heat going out of the game. And on the carry back is Hunt, and the kamikaze Carmichael.
Yeah, it's cooled right down.
So Tate, held by Badiris again around those legs.
There is absolutely no self-preservation in Carmichael Hunt whatsoever. Very bunched Queensland at the moment, but it's Matt Bowen tries to instigate something.
Titans and Broncos here on Friday night, and you'll see that nationally live. Here is Stephen Bell on halfway, held by El Masri. Smith away, Thurston with it, and gets a short ball to Nate Miles, and he is thundered by Hindmarsh and Gallen. Berrigan in the game very early, repeating Dallas Johnson hurt in the first minute, and that looks like it's going to reach the dead ball. Welcome to our audiences in Melbourne as we take a shot of one of your star players I've just finished talking about, Cameron Smith. Now for Gallen.
So this ball movement, extra ball movement from New South Wales tonight and compared to the other two games, it's not only having the effect of making them more dangerous, but you can see this Queensland team physically tiring.
Gallen, I think, is getting a rest as Hindmarsh is driven down by Thurston and Berrigan. Graham Murray and Roy Simmons, coach and assistant coach of New South Wales.
Matty Bowen to fullback, sorry Peter, Matty Bowen to fullback and Carmichael Hunt up to the wing now.
Here's Bird, short.
That's Hoffman.
For Hoffman.
3 forwards out there off the bench now. Bailey, Simpson and Hoffman all into the action as Gallen, who did well in the first half hour, gets a break. Kamali goes high and wide.
So the chase is on, the jump is on, and Carmichael Hunt. Stewart went in, but it's been deemed as not actually tackling the man in the air.
And I'm sure that Brett Kamali thought Matty Bowen was out on that wing. If he'd have known Carmichael Hunt was there, I doubt he would have tested him with the high ball. He hadn't seen that Bowen had gone back to fullback.
That's the Queensland 20-metre line. Pass looked a little bit suspect to Carl Webb. Carmichael Hunt. One wonderful take. Just incredible, that take from Carmichael Hunt. 5 tackles gone, 2 points the difference. New South Wales in front in Origin 3. And Lockyer fires it out to Hodges. Hodges to Tate at the last moment. And then 2 grenades hit him at the same time. And the ball goes out.
Yeah, he's hurt, Brent Tate. So too Matt Cooper. He knew it was the last tackle to Brent Tate, but he left the kick too late. The defenders were already upon him and there was some heavy contact. He's not happy. Brent Tate tries to kick it infield. And a real collision.
Doesn't look like he's twisted a knee or anything. Again, the adventurous football of Origin 3. Looks like a collision injury more than anything, although Hayne landed on him awkwardly. He's holding his knee.
And despite the fact the ball came off the New South Wales defenders, they won't have played at it, so it will be a New South Wales feed.
Well, if Tate's off, they're in awful trouble, Queensland. Awful trouble. It'll be the second winger they lose. And both their back replacements, Bowen and Berrigan, are on the field already.
Well, he missed football after game number 2. Didn't travel to New Zealand to take on the Warriors after hurting that knee. And some more wounds there for Jarryd Hayne.
Apparently they're trying to work out who's got the feed here.
Well, he's ruled on that. He's ruled that New South Wales have got the feed.
Off we go. Keep going, Barry. Gotta go.
So the scrum to pack 30 away from the Blues line.
Brent Tate refuses to leave the field. He wants to put his jersey in the line. He doesn't want to show them a gap and no defender out there. I don't know if he can chase.
In. Out.
So they go to the right. for Bird.
Well, good option to kick in behind him early in the count. Well, Matt Bowen's nowhere in the vicinity.
He's gone, he's walking off.
Yeah, they've signalled to the bench he can't go on.
Jared Haynes screaming for the ball now on the left-hand side of the field.
So Brent Tate retires from the game. Now they go to that side. Cooper to Lockyer, beats him. Hodges is there. Lockyer comes again. Ball loose. Queensland. Bowen now retaliates. Thurston over for Hunt. Out to the 40. And Carmichael Hunt eventually tackled. Pursued like a fugitive by El Masri. Bell getting it away for Carlaw. And he's hit by 4 of the Blues, including Andrew Ryan and Luke Bailey. Nate Miles, he fell awkwardly. Miles to play it to Smith. Then Lockyer. Now Carroll. Carroll has been dangerous up the middle.
Well, it'll take an eternity for Brent Tate to come around to the dressing room, which will resemble more like a mash unit than a dressing shed at half-time. As Stephen Price gets rid of one and the football.
Here's Bowen. 39 metres away from the Blues line. 5 tackles gone. 6-4. New South Wales leading. Thurston. Was he taken late? Was there a sense of a high tackle? Ball has gone dead.
Oh, he was taken. It's Greg Bird. No, he hasn't got him late. He hasn't got him illegally. He's just got him in a great, strong hit. Completely legitimate.
Move!
Thurston up on his feet.
Hoffman. Bailey. Simpkins. Referee. He had a good sight of it, and he confidently took play back to the 20-metre line for the restart. Kamali. Bird calling for it. That's him. Short and away. Ryan catch pass. Stewart. Taken by Thurston on the halfway line with some help from the 19. Dane Carlaw. No stranger to Origin football. Scored one of the great tries. One of the late great tries. Bird. Kamali. Wide. Beating Carroll. Getting a kick in along the ground. And it bounces up for Bowen. Bowen able to unload. Bell is there in support. Badeiras makes the tackle.
And with Brent Tate off the field, Stephen Bell playing the football now has gone over to the right wing. Sean Berrigan has moved out to left centre, a position he knows very well. But it is all hands on deck, and they will welcome half-time.
Well, they're in interchange trouble, there's no doubt about it. Bring Andrew Johns in again, mate. New South Wales should really concentrate on winning this at the back end of the game, shouldn't they?
Couldn't agree more, Gus. The next 20 minutes after half-time, if New South Wales hold their nerve and get through their sets and build some pressure, there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the last 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They can score some points here.
Bowen out wide. Meters into Blues territory. 5 tackles gone for the Maroons, and half-time is 4 minutes away. Lockyer's kick has a few players in front of the kicker. Hits the upright and bounces back for El Masri for the carry. And it's not a bad job out towards 20, Matthew John's sideline.
I'll tell you, Rams, Greg Bird has been sensational with this New South Wales side. A bit of his football arrogance has rubbed off on his football team. You watch him in attack, he doesn't necessarily need structure. He's just got the arrogance and the confidence to call something and make something happen. That sort of confidence has really been missing from this side this series.
Bailey now. Centre ground, 30 metres away from their own line. Bird. Tate back in the sheds. Johnson in 13. Inglis in 5. Mason. Andrew, an update on the injury problem for Queensland.
Absolutely extraordinary, Ray. You saw that shot from the dressing room. Let's just watch this chip over the top. Brett Stewart almost getting through. Now, just from the Queensland room, let's go through it. Dallas Johnson concussion. They've all but ruled him out. You can see him up on his feet. Look, he still doesn't know which country he's in. Greg Inglis, Brent Tate, they suspect ligament damage to the knees of both players. To highlight the problem for them, Carl Webb has played the entire first half. I reckon in his entire career, Carl Webb hasn't played 40 straight minutes.
Well, this penalty helps late in the count. And you can see Dallas Johnson there motioning. He wants to go back out, but the medical staff are shaking their head saying, no, you can't do it.
Well, before we get too carried away, they have performed some Houdini tricks in the past. There's Webb coming off now. I think I remember them coming home with 12 men one night and still winning. So don't put it past Queensland to do the impossible. Smith for Lockyer. Lockyer weaving back to the 10-metre line. He would dearly love to win 3-zip against the Blues. Smith looking at Price, gives it back for Bowen. Puts some depth into the game. The kick by Bowen is taken in touch in goal by Stewart. Line drop out time with 2 to go.
Yes, an early kick there from Matt Bowen, well covered by that man Brett Stewart. Just his second game of Origin. And Matt Bowen now, after coming into this game, is going to be a key member. If they're looking for a spark in attack when they are tired, he is the man to provide that. And that is why he's been moved to fullback, to get that involvement that he has with the Cowboys up around the play the ball area, or a little bit wide of the ruck where he can put his footwork on wider defenders. Slow restart from New South Wales, timeout. It's now back on.
Bird's kick, not all that brilliant. As Nate Miles goes back. Another who wants to put a little bit of a bunny hop into his work on approach. 30 out from the line for Price. Big Stephen. Knock on by Cameron Smith. So that might just about get us to the break with a set for New South Wales. 6-4. You've seen it. All the injuries that Queensland have suffered, and they're still only down by 2. Jared Hayne, fantastic try. Hodges equalised at the other end of the ground. El Masri, a mighty kick from the sideline. Thurston missing with his attempt at conversion. Penalty. It's a steal, it's a rake. 2 men in the tackle, and one of them there with the prime purpose to rake the ball. And Kamali has failed to find touch. Now the touch, he puts his flag up. So the Blues take the tap. They're 15 away. Kamali for Hoffman. Great hands by Hoffman. 10 metres out from the line. Last 60 seconds of the first half. Bird. Almost like a repeat of State of Origin 1. Slow played the ball. Badiris, Mason, Bailey, Mason, lost, Thurston pulled down by Ryan. Bowen, outside 20, taken by Kamali, cleaned up by the 15. That was Simpson, little elbow in the head as he got up. There's the hoot up. First half is over. And what a half of football. Matthew Johns.
Well, Phil Gould said before the game here at Suncorp, it's been a carnival atmosphere, and having the players played accordingly. What a first half of football. Isn't that entertainment? Frenetic pace. That's been the best half of football so far this Origin series. Now the Maroons are down to 1 reserve. I tell you, if they can pull this off, this will be their crowning glory for this year.
Coming up in half-time, the panel of experts relive the big plays of the first half in the race for the Tooheys new man of the match. There's the Ford Falcon XR8 Ute on player cam, and the latest from Matthew Johns and Ben Ikin on the sideline. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is Harvey Norman's State of Origin 3 on the home of the big sport, Channel 9. Talking of Greg Conescu, as I compared them with Cameron Smith earlier on, there's the kickoff off the boot of New South Wales to get us underway in the last half of the Harvey Norman 2007 Origin. And Price has met head on and pulled down by Badiris. Just inside the 30-metre line as Queensland run to the south in the second half. This is Webb, Carl Webb on the 40-metre line. was absorbing today just to walk the streets of Brisbane and sit in the Queen Street Mall at lunchtime and look at the people and the excitement that this match had whipped up, particularly for the Queenslanders. They have been rejoicing, and nobody will deny them some celebration later tonight, particularly if they win. Miles played that ball. Lockyer gets a kick in, and it's gone very, very high for Stewart. And Tony Carroll waits for him to land and then drives him back and down. Cooper for Hayne. Jarrett 15 away from his own line. Stewart, the young Manly fullback, solid under that high ball. Got himself a try on Deboo in number 2. El Masri plays it, Badiris for Mason, and Mason swerves at Carroll, gives it to Stewart, Stewart to Hoffman, and the Melbourne back rower. Hoffman down the left side, support coming, he's gone away from Cooper, gone to Stewart, ball goes over, bounces for Cooper, Cooper's short. Change over, Queensland refusing to let them in.
Well, I think he's knocked on, and you've got to say that they have blown that. Ryan Hoffman, a wonderful break, and what about the speed? Stephen Bell couldn't catch him, but he just threw the pass back inside to Brett Stewart a touch early, which allowed the fullback to play. He didn't commit Carmichael Hunt, who was able to come across. And Cooper here, I think, loses the football. There it goes. A little bit of a hand there from Hunt.
Yeah, it's good signs, though, for the Blues. That happened all too easily out wide. The Queensland defence, they lost their 2 wingers. They just didn't know what to do when the ball was spread, coming out of trouble by the Blues. And I think you'll see more of that in the second half.
Stephen Bell there. 10 away from his line. And they go back and start it all again, just like they did when they received the kick-off for the second half. Carl Webb to the 20, not put away. Carmichael Hunt trying to make his way through the traffic. Much of it caused by his own vehicles. Now it's with Price.
I can't believe they saved that try.
Smith away from Miles. I think it was just so typical of their hunger and their passion, the men in maroon. As Lockyer drives it for a bounce for Stewart back in his own line. Peter.
Well, if you don't do everything right, they will stop it. They just have that ability that unless it's worked perfectly against them, somehow Queensland are able to get numbers back, a hand in the right place. Strong tackle there from Nate Miles as Dallas Johnson has made his way out onto the bench. Don't forget he went in minute 1, so he's been off the field for 42 minutes plus the break for half time.
Bailey running the ball at Cameron Smith. 6-4, New South Wales. A try for Jared Hayne, converted by El Masri. Justin Hodges for Queensland, and Jonathan Thurston missed with the kick. Mason able to keep it alive, second phase. Bird short of halfway by 8 metres. Long ball for the boot of Kamali. And Kamali's kick bounces back and away awfully for Carmichael Hunt, who now tries to go round them. And Bell is with the ball.
He wanted Steve Bell to stay on the outside there. He tried to open something up, and it's a very distressed Brent Tate.
Here's Hodges. He circled them. He puts on the pace, but it's not enough to get away from Cooper.
Did well to stay in.
Queensland. Carlaw.
Dallas Johnson on for Carl Webb.
Smith. Price. To the 30 and unload. Keeping another phase alive. Cameron Smith. Put down heavily under the body of Badiris. Berrigan. Now Price. Price able to unload, and they keep it going. Lockyer dancing, finding the ground under Ryan, who's got a wound to the left eye. Below the left eye, Miles. Berrigan out wide. Puts a kick in, stabbing it back. Oh, it's Miles too deep.
They were looking for Jonathan Thurston. I don't know where he was. The dummy half couldn't find him. The ball found Berrigan out wide, put in a poor kick. I am standing and applauding the courage of Dallas Johnson. I don't care what he does or doesn't do out there tonight. The fact that he's got himself out of the dressing room and onto the field is courage unbelievable. He doesn't know where he is. To go straight in and makes a tackle.
I was just going to say, that's him around the legs of Andrew Ryan. And here is Matt King, tackled on his own 40-metre line by Carroll and Carlaw. The Buderus to Bailey to Mason to the halfway and beyond. And eventually Cameron Smith it is who pulls him down. Buderus for the kick for Kamali. No, it's the run for King. Back on the inside. And Buderus then goes to Kamali again. Nothing wrong in that little encounter back there after Kamali kicks. And again Hunt shows just how good he is in that number 1 shirt.
Well, he's called to the referee to say that he was tackled in the air, but Bailey did stay out deliberately waiting for at least a foot to be placed on the ground. For our viewers who may not watch rugby league all the time, you cannot tackle a man catching the football in mid-air.
In defence.
In defence.
Price. 17 out from the Queensland line, and they've got more troubles. Nate Miles is injured in back play. Carlaw to the 30-metre line. 5. Smith. Thurston. And that kick almost magnetised towards Hayne for Stewart to beat Thurston and reach halfway. Nate, it's a hand injury, probably dislocated finger. El Masri with the tackle by Price creeping up a little bit.
Nate Miles has had no club football this season either. The only football he's played has been in Origin. Mason is doing really well with his offloads to keep Queensland running around.
So Willie plays it back for Buderus, and Buderus starting to work away from dummy half with little runs and little dummies. And here's Stewart, a one-hander away for Simpson. Simpson straightens it up and goes up the middle, but Carlaw is there to make the tackle in 19. Not before Cameron Smith was there before him. Then it's Kamali, and then from Ryan. It goes to Drew, but it went backwards to El Masri. Tackled over there by Matthew Bowen. Here is Brett Kamali, and they've got him. Ball to ground. Race for the ball. Sees Queensland come up with it. On their own 30 for Carroll. Now Hunt. Joe! Through the head back, I thought for a moment. He'd been pulled up by a coat hanger. Now Lockyer. Over halfway. Hodges. 32 metres out. And Johnson is the dummy half, which frees up Berrigan. Nate Miles. Smith now goes back in the dummy half. Johnson just behind the ruck, staying out of it. Lockyer, dummy, passes second time. Thurston, it's a beautiful kick, but it's too deep. Andrew Voss sideline.
Oh, look, more drama here for Queensland. Good news, first of all. Petro Civoniceva back from the dressing room, ready to go on. Nate Miles, it's a shoulder problem. He happened when he tried to attempt to charge down on Brett Kamali. And right now at fullback, Carmichael Hunt, after that nasty-looking fall short of halfway, is limping for the Maroons.
6-4 New South Wales, leading with Mason.
Yeah, big run there from Willie Mason. I wouldn't be surprised if New South Wales actually have some success on the short side with Greg Bird, who's operated down that short side as first receiver, taking advantage of numbers on that side, on this side of the field.
Here's Stewart, up from fullback, got the ball away for Cooper. Cooper with blinding speed. He's got the fullback to beat. He steps, he goes over the line. Does he get it down? I don't think so. This is another freaking save, I think, by Queensland.
Well, Matt Cooper again looks certain to score. He's got plenty of speed and he is a big man, but he decided to prop back in. Stephen Bell one-on-one, brings him down short of the line. There is an arm under the football. I don't think he gets the ball down over the line or even on the line.
That is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So this is the fourth tackle. I just think we're going to get a back to the 10-metre line for held up over the line. New South Wales play the ball.
That is unbelievable. That's the ghost of Matty Singh. He'll be watching in England thinking, good on you, boys. They're not out of trouble yet.
Match going live into the UK. So a lot of the Aussies will be watching this game. No try, play the ball. What are we on, Pete? 4 or 5?
Fourth tackle. Pretty certain that was the call. And Stephen Bell, what an effort, one-on-one. Matt Cooper.
Buderus wide and deep for Kamali to find Bird, who shortens it up to Ryan.
Need a good finish here through Kamali's kick into the in goal.
So Buderus going himself and finding Kite. Kite got it away. Buderus had a clean miss at it. Queensland's ball anyway.
Unbelievable. They just want the first try, the Blues. I think if they get one, they'll get a few. But they're struggling to make the first one count. Queensland's still hanging on.
Comment from Andrew Johns.
Sometimes in situations like this, as a halfback or a ball player, you have too many options. And when you have that, invariably you take the wrong one. There's just too many options out there for the Blues. They just have to be patient, get to their kick, and the tries will come.
What I reckon happened there, I think after the break, Danny Buderus didn't realise it was the last tackle.
Yeah, I think you're right. Lockyer's kick is going straight down to Jared Hayne again. Plenty of depth about it though, and it gives them a chance to make that first tackle on the 30-metre line, and Johnson was the first man there. Bravery, courage, a refusal to lie down from Queensland particularly. Hoffman looking to make another break down the Queensland right side. 3 metres into Queensland's territory. Well, he looked at the referee as if to say, put the handcuffs on me. But it's play on for Kite.
I think he was unsighted, Paul Simpkins. He looked to the touch charge and got no call. Allowed play on.
Buderus a one-handed pickup. Takes play inside the 30-metre line. The robotic Danny Buderus. Now for Bird. And Bird puts it into that corner. Here's Bowen. Oh, Bird crunches him. Bird put him in a sandwich. Now, Berrigan. Geez, a tough little roost at his fellow Bird. Him and Gallen, they put plenty of inspiration into the New South Wales side, the way I was watching it, first 20 minutes or so. Here's Miles. 25 out. Cameron Smith. He's a left-footed kicker. And the ball! The ball has found it!
Oh, where's the touch? We're going to have to go upstairs to have a look at this. This is third tackle, Cameron Smith, down near his 20. The touch judge has got a foot either side of the 20-metre. Again, for our viewers who don't know a great deal about our game, if you kick the football inside your own 40 and find touch inside your opponent's 20, you get the ball back. He's kicked it inside his 30. Well, how do you make a judgment on that? We've discussed this before. He just kept inching down the touch judge.
What about the touching?
Well, the video referee can't make a decision either. There's no way he can determine how to go with New South Wales feed.
Who does the benefit of that, Eddie?
He deserved it. It was a mighty kick. He deserved it.
Yeah, I understand where Andrew's coming from. In a try situation, you would go with the benefit of the doubt there to Queensland if it was the same ruling.
That might just play on Queensland's mind too. That was easy metres from the back of the scrum. That might be a little bit disappointing for them, given what they're going through.
Brent Kite. Good run by him, and then Ryan. Ryan again. The Bobcat. The pass is wide and wild. Gridley is on in 17. Johnson the tackler in 13. Hoffman on to Bailey. Then to Kamali. Short for Simpson. Yeah, that touch judge, he put 1 foot on either side of the 20-metre line. He was betting each way. Bailey. taken down by 3 Queenslanders. Last tackle for the Blues. Kamali to the short side. The kick for Bell. Bell. Well, what's he going to do? Line drop out.
This is a huge call.
I thought he got back and then got forced back.
Exactly. There, Stephen Price is blowing up deluxe. This is a huge call. The first time that New South Wales have had a consecutive set with the football down here.
He finishes on the line. That's in goal. It was a brave effort, no doubt about it. But on the line is in goal, same as if you score a try.
There's some rule to be no second movement by a tackler to force him back after the tackle was completed.
I think Queensland chances come down to this set of 6 or this little period of the game. They can't afford New South Wales to get more than a 6-point lead. If the Blues score again next, I really think they'll get away with this. What a drop kick by Lockyer.
That is a fantastic kick.
The captain has responded with a big one.
Johnson responds with a lovely tackle. Straight out of the manual. In fact, it was the tackle almost identical to the one that put him out of the game for 41 minutes. But he got that one right. Gidley a dummy half for Ryan. Running across the back of the ruck. He beats Lockyer. Gets it away. It's with Tights. Miles, Price and Sivanasiva. Gidley, Kamali, second man, Bird. Very wide is Gallen. Gidley again, Kamali, behind Kite for Stewart, inside ball, Hoffman away from one, lays it back, Blues go for it, picked up by Kamali, and a penalty for obstruction against New South Wales. I think he's absolutely right. To use an Australian rules term, they were shepherding.
They are out on their feet, Queensland. This is the mistake. Brett Kamali gets behind Matt Cooper. Justin Hodges claiming he couldn't get to him. And they were down on their haunches after that. And it is the captain, Danny Ladiris, who has come off to make way for Kurt Gidley, his Newcastle teammate, working out of dummy half.
This is unbelievable. This is really unbelievable. I've seen Queensland show courage and bravery in the past. Gee whiz, this is special.
Sivanasiva there. Plays it near the halfway. Price takes it right to centre ground.
They can't keep going, surely. They can't keep going.
Don't you bet. Ben Aiken sideline.
You want to know about courage, you want to know about passion. You just look at that Queensland defensive line on the last set and look at them fighting back here. Jonathan Thurston, Darren Lockyer, these core group of players are taking it to the Blues. They don't care who's injured. They just want to win in front of a home crowd.
Price diving on a sloppy ball.
Throw Benny Aiken in jersey, he's ready.
Lockyer, flat and hard to Bowen. 33 away from the New South Wales line for Bowen. Lockyer, time to kick. Oh, Gidley probably could have pulled out of that. Here's Hay, getting it away for Cooper. Cooper again with space, but he's run down by Hodges. 31.
He even had the presence of mind, Hodges, to try and strip that football one-on-one. Short ball, finds Kite.
Kite looking around for a blue jumper. He finds Gidley. Gidley finds Hay. Hayne beats Miles. Not the second time with the help of Sivanasiva.
They're missing a lot of one-on-one tackles. This will hurt unbelievably.
One there, one here.
The Queenslanders, through their fatigue, are starting to miss one-on-one tackles, which means someone else has got to come and finish off your work, and that doubles the workload. The Blues have got to calm down here and just come down and execute one good, solid try.
And don't be fooled by that. That is just a two-man bench there. Greg Inglis will not come back into the game. Carlaw and Carroll.
Kite. Brent playing for his first victory in Origin at Suncorp, as I mentioned earlier. Simpson. 17 away. Centre of the ground. Up to the northern end. Gidley for Bird. Bird off his right foot, takes a slap over the face from Sivanasiva. 7 metres away. Gidley, watch out for him. Penalty, New South Wales, hand on the ball. Well, all the calls are going to the Blues at the moment.
Well, when you start getting tired in defence, you start putting the hand on the football. You're doing everything you can to slow the football down.
Kamali quickly to Brent Kite. Kite played his junior football in the national capital. Played to Gidley. He goes back. He finds Stewart. Kamali finds Bird. Bird steps off his right and is taken by the Maroon defence. 8 metres away. Again for Gidley. Gidley away from Cameron Smith. Is going backwards in the hope to go forward. Taken by Lockyer. Stewart out from dummy half. Stewart lays it down. Gidley gives it away. Kite flies onto the ball and is pulled down inches away from the line.
Unbelievable. Have I said that once?
I think so.
This is unbelievable.
Let's get that unbelievable counter going. It's up to 7.
He was reaching out to score, Brent Kite. But they are all over the place, New South Wales. It's too much ad-lib out there. I really think that this is where Brett Kamali, as the number 7, has got to put the troops where he wants them and have some method to the attack.
Stephen Bell, who tonight has been simply unbelievable. Seven-a-Siva to the 20-metre line for Smith to go to Dallas Johnson, and they rattle him up. He's got to be concussed. Smith, Berrigan at the back of the ruck to the 30-metre line.
8 miles off, Dane Carla on, trying to work his troops, Mal Meninga, to get the best benefit out of them as Thurston.
Oh!
Throws the
How was he
pass.
tackled? Not in possession, yes! Penalty Queensland. Maroon tackled, not in possession.
Well, now it's down to the Maroons. Have they got the energy? Have they got a play? Have they got a player who can come up with some points to get their nose in front and give them some reward for this astonishing bravery and courage in defence? They need some incentive. They look out on their feet. If they can get to the front on the scoreboard, the crowd will lift them and they'll feel like it's all been worthwhile. Here they come, the Maroons.
So that's a superb kick there from Jonathan Thurston, got every inch. It was the right call too. Gidley did take Bowen out.
Seven-a-Siva. Move! He's been outstanding in 2007. Cameron Smith for Stephen Price, who I fit into the same category as Seven-a-Siva. They've built their wins off these two. Smith back, Thurston back and away for Lockyer to go to Bowen. Bowen steps, Lockyer almost in the road. Bowen taken down. 3 metres out from the Blues line. Thurston for Lockyer. Oh, and he's crunched into the ground by Kamali. Cameron Smith for Jonathan Thurston. A show to Seven-a-Siva. A show to Price and given to Bowen. Bowen beats one. Bowen steps around another. Bowen comes back to the middle. Gets the pass to Price. The ball is battered down. It's back with the Blues. Hindmarsh has got it.
Stand up.
Matt King.
Oh, that could have hurt. He's first into the turf there. Matt King as Azimel Masri comes in field to help out. That's 3 tackles, 22 out in their own line.
Gidley. If there's any man out there with fresh legs, it's Kurt Gidley. And he's just the man that could do it for the Blues.
Stand. Hold.
But how do you totally penetrate the Maroons? They've lost it again, the Blues. Hoffman puts it away. 19, Carlo runs with the ball. They smash him into the ground. In the main, it was Hindmarsh together with Stewart. For Hodges. Hodges, the try scorer for Queensland. 38 away. Blues in defence. Johnson. The nuggety little lock forward from Melbourne. 60 tackles in one of the Origins this year. Price to Thurston. The top surface is a bit slippery. And here is Thurston, drifting, looking, probing, getting it to Hodges. Hodges put down 18 away. Cameron Smith to the short side, still going. He's wanted it on the blind. They're going open for Seven Asiva. Then to Thurston. Now to Lockyer. Long ball. Out it goes to Berrigan. Berrigan trapped.
El Masri off his wing. Beautiful read. Was unfolding against him. An overlap. He snuffed it out. Last tackle now. Thurston. Crossfield. Short of the line.
And batted down by Bell. It goes to Hodges. He puts a kick in. And it's taken by Cooper. Well, the Blues turning Queensland away.
I'd be putting Matt Bowen back to fullback if they get in the opposition 40, attacking, move Carmichael Hunt out wide, but in defence swap them around. Bowen needs to be around to play the ball area, sniffing around at the back of the ruck like he does so well at club level.
Andrew Voss sideline.
I'm with Sterlo 100%. Matty Bowen won a match on his own here earlier this year for the Cowboys against the Broncos with a devastating 5 minutes late in the game. New South Wales getting a little tired as well. The Wizard, Matt Bowen, he can win it for them. By the way, Steve Price looks like he'll play the entire 80 minutes tonight in the front row.
Kick taken by Bowen. Back on his 10, now to his 20. Simpson and Hindmarsh delaying the play of the ball as long as the referee will allow.
I've seen some good ones, but this is up there. Boy, oh boy. It's nearly unfair if Queensland lose.
Seven Asiva is with the ball. Well, I started in Origin at 88-89 and I saw the match you talked about at half-time where they finished with 12 men and the Kings scored the try, but this is right up there with it. And this goes dead.
Gee, they've been a touch unlucky with those long kicks. Cameron Smith just short of a 40-20. And that one from Thurston, again early in the count, just a touch too long.
52,469. Packing Suncorp. Packing the best rugby league stadium in the world.
Oh, look at this.
Look at the drive. Look at the enthusiasm. Have a taste of this. Hayne. Badeiros for Kite again. Running it at Lockyer. Carlo helping in the tackle. Badeiros short. Simpson short. 17 Gidley. Out it comes for Gallen. Gallen runs to Thurston. Gets rid of him. And is put down by Smith, trailing through.
I think that's a good move from Graham Murray. He's got his captain back out there at dummy half. Moved Gidley a little bit wider as a receiver. Matt King can't beat the low tackle of Jonathan Thurston. Last tackle against the Blues, 45 out.
6-4 the score. One of the low scoring games in Origin football. Hunt, then to Bell. Haynes gone in and hangs on to a little bit of maroon cotton. Penalty, pulled down after being called. The Maroons taking their time. They'll find the line, they'll work it down and have another shot at that line at the southern end.
12 minutes on the clock. They've got to get themselves to the front, the Maroons. He hasn't kicked it out, has he? What a kick. What a kick from Lockyer.
I don't know that he got a touch on it.
What a kick from Lockyer. The captain again stands up. He's done it with his kicking, his tackling, his passing.
Twice he's won the man of the match. Kamali back on the benches. Thurston and Price combining 20 metres away from the Blues line. 12 to go. 2-point ball game, Blues in front. Seven Asiva hit and spin. Lockyer, Johnson, Lockyer. Lockyer. He has pulled some big matches out of the fire. Tri-Nations, Origins, Grand Finals. Thurston gets in behind, too deep. 20-metre free carry for New South Wales.
That will hurt Queensland. That will hurt. That was a rush of blood. That's desperately trying to get points when they probably weren't on offer. And his teammates have got to respond in defence again. 11 and a half minutes left on the clock in an epic Origin game.
Cooper just inside the 40-metre line. Taken by Tony Carroll. Where's he found this 2007 forward? Nate Miles in the room now. The emergency ward is full. Buderus. Gidley. Cooper. Dancing. Stepping. Then he's torpedoed into the ground by Hodges. Buderus to the short side for Gidley. And Gidley's kick skewering across and out. So we'll take a break and come back in a moment. Back live. 10 to go at Brisbane Suncorp Stadium.
And that was another poor finish to New South Wales, the other side of the break, the ball going over the sideline. That works into Queensland's hands. The Blues need the football in play as much as possible to keep this petrol gauge going down towards empty, the opposition. They just had a breather then.
Carlaw held by Mason.
Queensland is just looking for one shot at the end as, well, he's kicked that before knocking on. Steve Price called play on. And that's ruled to have been knocked back by Hazem El Masri.
Hindmarsh for King. King over the halfway.
I think one good short pass can do this for New South Wales. If there are enough missing tackles just to make the short, that's the one they're looking for.
Bird and Mason. Bird and Mason. Ryan and Hayne. Hayne is with it. Ryan in 12. Mason in 10. Off his right foot twice. Pull down 15 away from the line by Justin Hodges. On to Kurt Gidley. 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 7 away. Tackle by Smith. Buderus for Bird. Thurston. He's taken it in.
Unbelievable.
Stop it. That's 8. Now, Bowen. Bowen, who scored that intercept try off the infamous Kamali pass. Look at that. Look at that from Thurston. Bell. Thurston. Thurston. Inside. Very good. 20-metre line. His own end. Matthew. Sideline.
Raps, you said it, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable effort for the Maroons. But looking at the big forwards there, tied. Unfortunately for New South Wales, our big men are dominating the attacking sets of 6. We've got to get the little men in close. People like Bird and Gallen and Gidley, Buderus, just take off and take them on.
Sivanaseva on 5. Don't blame me for unbelievable, please. Lockyer, round and down. There's a chance for Cooper. There's a chance for Cooper. No, there's not. They shut it down. Carlaw in 19 and Tony Carroll in 11. So another thrust is coming from the Blues, from Mason.
Work to the side and hit back at the posts. Stretch the defence.
Gallen. Up the middle. 17 away. Gallen trying to free the arms. Queensland eventually getting him down. Sivanaseva, I'm just looking at his face. He's absolutely exhausted. Gidley almost through. And another try saver by Cameron Smith to the blind. The Bird away. The try is on. And over goes King. Over goes Matt King to score the try that'll probably win Origin 3 for the Blues.
Well, we've got a huge conversion coming up from Hazem El Masri. It's been a long time coming. The short side, Greg Bird. The cut-out pass, one-on-one. Matt King, a big man, gets over, 6 the lead.
Matt King has scored the try, his 6th Origin try, and his 8th appearance. Every time he's played Origin, he's played on the wing. Tonight is his first appearance as a centre at Origin level.
And that's the assignment that Hazem El Masri has been dreaming about ever since lacing a boot. He has got a kick, we believe, to win an Origin game and put it out of golden point range of the opposition. If he can pilot this one over, it just might be enough to break the spirit of Queensland, who only have 6 minutes to get back into this game. And if El Masri is successful with this, you would think that would be impossible to score twice in that period of time. He's already kicked one from the sideline. If he ever wanted one in his career to go over, this would be right at the top of the list.
10-4. Can it be 12-4? Hazem has got the destiny in his right foot.
It was a great kick there from Hazem El Masri, but you cannot count out the Maroons just yet. It's going to take something special, I admit. Special players come to the fore in these situations. Great try and kick from New South Wales. Darren Lockyer, Cameron Smith, can they do it?
Lockyer with the short or shallow kick-off, and Cooper is with the ball. A little collision with Jared Hayne. Bailey, we'll see him on Friday night when the Titans take on the Broncos, live across the Rugby League networks on Friday night at 7:30 in front of Tigers Panthers. Now Badiris. Gallant performance. Tireless performance. 30 tackles. 7 hitters. Great leadership. 5 gone. Blindside play for Bird. And he rolls it over the sideline. Why not?
What an extraordinary game of football. What an absolutely extraordinary game of football. There'll be 2 winners here tonight. New South Wales will claim the points. But you cannot label Queensland as losers on what we've seen here this evening. It has been absolutely outstanding.
Lockyer 25 tackles, Price 24, Smith 40, Sivanasiva 30, Carroll 38. Dallas Johnson, who's played half a game, is 28. They are huge counts.
28 tackles. The first one knocked him out. He made the other 27 on memory. What a gallant performance.
Carl Webb. Upright tackle turned into a tackle on the dirt by Hindmarsh. Now for Sivanasiva. Danny Badiris was reflecting on 2003 when they came here having won 1 and 2, and then they were humbled by Queensland in what some call the dead rubber match. But he said the presentation just lacked any meaning at all as they lifted the series trophy above their heads. And it seemingly is going to be the same for Queensland tonight, although perhaps not so bad in front of your home crowd, to signal that your state has been triumphant. Here is Hayne with a long, incisive run to the 30-metre line. And Jared Hayne is hurt. Is he hurt or feigning? Stewart for Bailey. I think it might be the latter. He's walking away unaided to the 20-metre line. The Blues, 12-4, an 8-point break. Badiris and Ryan. Badiris goes to Hindmarsh. 8 tries this year in all forms of the game. 9 metres away, and Smith makes the tackle with Price. 2 of the Queensland series heroes. Gallen, Ryan, as though he wouldn't be denied. Tackled by Carl Webb. Gallen for the line. Gallen gets it away. As El Masri. Hazem El Masri puts it over the line. Well, I don't know how Gallen did that, but I'm sure El Masri's the try scorer.
He is right. He's being congratulated. What a wonderful night for Hazem El Masri. Beautiful ball from Paul Gallen. They decided to run the football on the last tackle, and that's where they had success going down that side for King to wrap this one up. Paul Gallen, Matt Bowen coming off his wing, trying to get in and help. But he rolls it off. El Masri over.
Well, he didn't really pass it, he lost it.
It's the goal. El Masri will attempt conversion of his own try. From 22 metres out, 2 metres in. Impeccable performance in his debut at Origin level for Hazem El Masri. Believe me when I tell you, one of rugby league's model players. Can he get this from 2 metres in? Are you brave enough to back him out? It's on its way. He's got it again. He has had an impeccable night. The Blues have won State of Origin 3, but Queensland have won the Harvey Norman Series. Series back-to-back. The whitewash that they dreamt of was denied by the brave Wizard Blues tonight. This has been typical Origin. Bravery, gallantry, heroics. There might have been a touch of stupidity. Medical stupidity, maybe. But at the end of the day, this will go down as a magnificent exhibit when they open the Origin Museum, if ever they do.